Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Hello, how are you?
Tired because I'm old. This is yours. This is primarily yours and Coyote's rodeo, so he wants to take the floor. So you guys have at it.
Hi, so you seem to be under the impression that I'm a pedophile enabler, and I just wanted to have a talk to you about that, try to figure out where you're coming from on that, because that seems like a pretty bold claim, and one that just really doesn't make any kind of sense, So I'm trying to understand where you're coming from here, and I'm trying to understand, what your point is, what's going on here. So if you want to talk about that, why don't we talk about that?
All right, no problem. Okay, so I made this quote-unquote accusation because accusing someone of being something because of a drawing is the same thing the old school conservatives say that someone is a terrorist for playing video games, this kind of stuff. It's it's pretty dumb of a statement.
Well,
Everyone
Steve,
knows that. Hmm?
Well, Steve from Wisconsin. I disagree, and the reason why is because it's very easy to tell that this is a depiction of a child, and somebody is getting sexual gratification from a depiction of a child. Granted, fictional. They are fictional, and I will give you that. However, it is still a depiction of a child. That is an undisputed fact. And the word we have for people who are sexually aroused by children, whether it's just a depiction, which a photography can also be a depiction, even though that's a realistic one based off a real person. I'll grant you those are two different things. Those are still both depictions of children. And an individual who is sexually aroused by a depiction of a child, the word for that is pedophile.
That's another thing I have as a basis for my quote-unquote accusation. Because no one in their right mind would make this correlation. It's like saying that me playing, for example, Call of Duty makes me a soldier. That's that doesn't make any sense.
Well, you're right. Well, you are absolutely right, Jack from Wyoming. That doesn't make any fucking sense, and the reason why that doesn't make any sense is because it's a false equivalence. See, what I've given is a very clear line of reasoning that actually does hold water. What you've done is given it a false equivalence by throwing out something that's not the same thing. See, one of these is a paraphilia. Pedophilia is a paraphilia in somebody's mental state. It's a deviation of their sexuality. And what that is an inherent trait somebody has. That's what causes somebody to be attracted to children, which would cause arousal to things like lolicon or other depictions of children. The whole thing you've presented as a counter argument is simply a false equivalence because that is just a video game which inherently doesn't have the same things attached to it. That has nothing to do with how somebody's maybe predisposed or some kind of deviation in their head. So you've just presented an argument that's a non-starter.
How false it is of a equivalence.
I,
Want to try
I'm
that
so,
again?
you want okay? Just hold on, Dave from Wisconsin. You need to try that one again.
Okay. Uh, how false it is of equivalence.
I it,
How that's
I
not a equivalence.
I've explained already how that's a false equivalence. It's
I can tell. I can tell him if you want.
okay.
If you
Look,
want to
look,
tag me
look. I just give me one sec. Okay, Bill from Texas. This is not a difficult thing to understand. I've laid it out very clearly. I can tell that the English language is probably a second language for you, and I'm trying right now, but it's one of those things where, yeah, this is a false equivalence, and I've laid out why that's a false equivalence. One of these things is an inherent mental trait. It's a deviation of somebody's sexuality. That's what causes somebody to be sexually attracted to depictions of children, whether real or fictional. Doesn't matter. That is still pedophilia, and that is an inherently different thing from somebody playing a video game. See, what you're trying to argue is some kind of radicalization through a video game, which isn't the same thing as somebody already being predisposed to something because they're actively searching for something to masturbate and pleasure themselves to.
So do you think people are stupid?
I I don't think people are stupid, but I do believe some people are stupid.
Good. At least we know that some real instances of pedophilia are intolerable.
I
But
have
anyway,
never Hold on, I have never once said that. I don't think any instances of pedophilia are tolerable. I think they are all equally reprehensible, and I think pretty much pedophiles, if I ran this country, we would hang... I've said this multiple times. If I ran this country, we would have them hanged from every light pole in America so that everybody gets a constant reminder that we don't do that to children in this country.
So why do you think drawings have any importance in this matter?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that one for me one more time?
He asked you why you think drawings have any importance in this matter.
Because some artists who create lolicon as well as create cub porn, they use actual real-life CP or actual real-life depictions of children as references, which I can actually pull one of those situations up. One of my friends, an associate of mine, Brackets, actually gave a reply to somebody in this exact conversation on Twitter, just in the past hour, that shows one of those instances. The reality is, these kinds of things, because there are artists who will do that, that can perpetuate, creating victims and enable the fucking exploitation of children. And the reason why is because some artists are actually using that as a reference. That makes it so people keep creating this shit. It helps enable it, if that makes any sense. Can you rationalize? Can you understand where I'm coming from now? Dave from Wyoming. By the way, the reason I am calling you all of these things is basically jokes about you being Indian tech support. I just hope that's clear.
Okay, no problem. So
right.
anyway, as I was... Huh? Okay, go on.
Mind if I tag in here, Coyote?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes as in go ahead.
Okay. You don't believe in any way, shape, or form that fiction affects reality. True?
True.
Okay, so I want you to tell me what your favorite cartoon is.
Hot Wheels accelerators.
All right, Hot Wheels accelerators, right?
Yes.
Why is that your favorite cartoon?
Because it has cars, exotic cars, and the such, and because it has an interesting concept of multiple dimensions inside an okay, how do you speak this English? Inside a ancestral artifact,
Right.
multiple dimensions and such.
Does it make you happy to watch it?
Yes, when I watch.
Okay. Then you do realize you just defeated your own statement that fiction does not affect reality. What happens when you watch that show that you enjoy is it feeds your brain dopamine. Dopamine is released into your brain and it makes you happy. That is a physical, chemical reaction to the fiction. On top of that, the fiction tends to inspire people. It drives them. What we had in comics 50 years ago are things that are realities now. Fiction does affect reality. The argumentation line you're trying to go down always makes a false equivalence of violence versus sexual inclination. And here's why it's a false equivalence, since you didn't understand it when it came to Coyote. There's two reasons why it's a false equivalence. One, because in order to get off in terms of the child pornography, whether it be real life child pornography or whether it be hand-drawn or digitally done child pornography, you are still causing a physical change in your body to go from flaccid to aroused in order to pleasure yourself to an image you are showing attraction to. It is a false equivalence concerning video game violence for two reasons. One, you're not causing a physical change that causes any sort of change in your structure, like arousal. And two, there are times in reality where violence is not only needed, but it is the morally correct thing to do. There is not a time in reality when assaulting and having sexual relations with children is acceptable or the morally correct thing to do.
So do you think I would want to enter these dimensions in this context?
Want to try that again? I didn't understand what you were saying.
So do you think I would want to enter these dimensions I mentioned in this context?
Right over your head. I'm not talking about your Speed Force Hot Wheels thing and you entering dimensions. You completely
It's the
ignored
same
what I
concept.
just said. It is not the same concept, and I literally just told you why. At this point, you're not actually listening to the counter argument. You're hoping to respond because you just don't get it. I will break it
No,
down
I
one
get
more
it.
time.
I get
Okay,
it.
then tell me how it's different. Explain my
Uh,
argument to me. Tell me how I said it's different.
you, uh, okay, let me see if I remember correctly. You think that just chemical reactions in my body are some sort of justification for why fiction affects reality. Nobody thinks that in this context. Nobody
Scientists do.
thinks morality.
Scientists do. Scientists actually have studied how fiction affects reality because it's observable in real time.
All right,
I don't
all right. Let
I
me
don't know.
see.
I don't know where you're getting this everybody thing because you do not represent the whole of humanity. You don't even represent a small portion of humanity. You only represent you, and you're doing a garbage job of arguing about any of this. Because what I did was I walked you through how being aroused by this type of pornography makes it to where your body is trained to continue to be aroused by that.
Welcome to my world, Leo. I've been walking Curry for brains over here through this shit on Twitter for the past hour, and he still hasn't gotten it.
He doesn't want to. That's just the truth of the matter. You don't want to get it, do you?
So in this tangent, using your standards, do you think I'm a zoophile for liking furry porn?
Depends on the reason why you like the furry porn. Do you like the furry porn because they're specific characters that you find attraction to in terms of personality, or maybe their body shape? Or do you like furry porn because there's a big old dog dick you want to pleasure yourself to? Which one is it?
At that point, I think as far as me as a furry, what I would say, it depends on the type of furry porn. If you're talking about feral, yeah, I say that might be an indication that you might have zoophilic tendencies if they're feral. If they're on all fours with no human characteristic. No, I want to get onto this because he's asked me this one too. If they have no human characteristics, if there are no human traits, and it is feral artwork that is pornographic in nature, yeah, I think you might very well have zoophilic tendencies. If it's anthropomorphized to the point that there are mostly human characteristics, I don't think that that's something one could reasonably argue, because that is very clearly a depiction of what is supposed to be human, although there are changes to it in its biology. That's really just black and white right there.
But they are still animals. Don't you use that excuse.
I literally just asked you a specificity and you could not answer it.
That's
So I'm going to ask
merely
you
an
again.
excuse.
No, it's not an excuse. It's a question. So I'm going to ask you again. I want you to take some Q-tips if you have them near you, clean out your ears, and pay attention. I don't know if you have an IQ lower than your chromosome count, but we're going to try this again. So one more time. What aspect of the furry are they attracted to? Are they attracted to the shape of the character, the personality of the character, or the animalistic features of them? Which one?
Personally or in general?
Let's go with your answer.
Almost all of these.
So you're attracted to the
Uh,
animal features then too, yes?
Kind of, not in the concept itself.
Okay, so kind of is still yes. So yes, by definition, you would be a zoophile because you are attracted to animal attributes. That's
No,
how
I said all
definitions
of them.
work. What?
I said all of them, almost all of them.
Yeah, all of them, which includes the animalistic aspect. Do you not know what the word all means?
Yes, I wouldn't like furry porn if the characters were animals or
Okay.
animal based.
And if you are attracted to the animalistic aspects of it, then yes, you're a zoophile. It's
Wait,
not that
wait a
difficult
minute.
of a concept.
Wait a minute, I actually want to ask a question on that one. Aladdin, did you just say that you wouldn't be attracted to any of those characters if they were human? Is that what you said?
Yes, because it wouldn't be a furry porn if it wasn't based
Wait.
off animal.
So you find no attraction to any of their human characteristics, and you wouldn't even be
No, I
attracted to
like
any of them if they were. You wouldn't even be attracted.
I
You
like-
just said no. You just said that you wouldn't be attracted to them if they were human. You would not find any attraction to them. Why
No,
is
I like
that? That's an
humans too.
interesting. No, that's not what you said earlier. So I'm following up on that. You said you would find no attraction to these characters if they had human characteristics. Why is that? Do you think you got mad at me not because I'm going after something that you think whatever about at this point, because I've broken it down pretty logically. Maybe you're just pissed off because I happen to be right in this situation, and it pisses you off because you can't come to fucking terms with the fact that you're into some pretty fucked up shit.
No, it's not like that. It is
Really?
like
Well,
this.
you fucking tell me what it actually is, because it sounds like that based on everything I've seen.
Okay, listen. I like both human and furry porn. For the concept of porn itself, just that. And my other point that I'm coming from since the beginning is that since it's fictional, it doesn't exist. Just because it uses real world elements, it doesn't mean it exists inherently as it is.
Nobody's arguing whether or not the fictional thing exists. They're arguing the fact that it has a very real output in reality and that you are using it to feed paraphilias. And feeding a paraphilia is just as stupid as an alcoholic going and getting drunk on the weekend with his buddies. You don't feed addictions and you don't feed paraphilias. You get them treated and you abstain from them.
How do these people keep finding me?
You know what a paraphilia is, Otter?
Yes.
All right. Then you arguing the asinine, by the way, it's actually a logical fallacy. It's called the fallacy of relative privation. That Coyote should go after what you think he should go after is asinine. Because these people, whether you want to believe it or not, even if they're not hurting anyone else, they're harming themselves because they should not be feeding a paraphilia. That goes for zoophile porn, that goes for furry porn that people focus on the animal aspects of, and it goes for lolicon. You are harming at least minimum 2 people. The artist is harming himself by depicting that garbage and feeding it into his brain, and the person consuming it is hurting themselves because they're feeding a paraphilia, which is a mental disorder. You don't feed addictions, you don't feed paraphilia. It's like somebody's shooting nails into his leg with a nail gun, and instead of going to the hospital and getting them removed, he just keeps shooting the nails in because why not?
Actually, no. It's more akin to me seeing somebody that I know and love, or even if I don't know them, I'm seeing somebody about to inject meth at lethal dosages and turning my head and walking the other direction. Yeah, I didn't do anything, and I'm not obligated to. But the fact that I didn't do anything, somebody's still gonna fucking die.
So let's focus in these cases. The others that doesn't do anything, we just let them alone. They aren't causing harm to anyone.
I've literally explained. I don't know how to make this more clear. I don't. Oh my
We
god!
literally just told you who's harming. Did you not pay attention? I told you minimum 2 people harmed. Who are the 2 people I've said minimum
Yeah,
were
so
harmed?
let's focus on these cases.
That's
these
literally
cases,
what
these
I'm
cases.
doing. That's literally what I'm doing. That's what he said. That's what I'm doing. Are you fucking deaf or just retarded?
You're out just accusing people without proof.
When they say I get off to lolicon, that's an admission of their actions. That is proof. Do you not know how that works?
How do you know
Oh my god!
they are
Because they are outspoken about jacking off to lolicon.
How do
Lolicon
I-
specifically, by its definition, is sexual imagery of child characters. And by definition, pedophilia is attraction to children.
How do I fucking know? Because they fucking said it outright in plain English, you fucking moron. They literally
you do it.
publicly said it. They publicly said so in a public forum to my fucking face, and I responded to it. That's how the fuck I know.
So why don't you call the police then?
Well, yeah.
Count the
Let's
police.
hold on a
Count them
minute.
for
That's
what?
I like that, but that's a great idea. Problem is though, I'm not magically aware of every person's location on the planet. I'm sorry, I'm not
Hold on.
Cerebro. I can't do that.
Hold on. Did you just say why don't you call the police?
Yes. if you care about
Hold on.
this so much.
Stop. Are you from the United States? Yes or no?
No,
Okay, then let me
I
make it
said
very
that
clear.
from my accent.
Let me make this very clear for you. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to clean out your ears, and I want you to focus on what I'm going to say. Believe it or not, in the United States, 90% of this stuff is not illegal. Find me a statute. Won't. The argument we're making is not a legal argument. It is a moral argument. And being a pedophile and being a child abuser are two different things. There can be pedophiles that exist that have never once touched a child. And I hope they get help to control themselves and never do. The ones who do, I think, should be thrown into a meat grinder and fed to the nearest wild animal because that's the best they deserve. That's my personal value. If your argument is, well, if you think these people are lolicons, call the cops, tells me you are completely ignorant of American law, how the legal system works, and the type of argument you're in. You're not in a legal argument, Scooter. You're in a moral argument. I recommend you recenter yourself and set your sights straight. Try a better fallacy.
And even then, calling the cops, it's one of those things that, one, that requires I have information, which I frankly don't. So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, you're basically just asking me to do the impossible. So since I can't do that, I'm going to do the next best thing, which is address it publicly where they decided to have the conversation. Since they decided to talk about it publicly, that's what I'm going to keep doing. How's that sound, Captain Kabuki?
Not enough. Call the police. No excuses.
I literally just told you why that's not valid. Did you not pay attention?
You know what, dude? I'm gonna break it down very simply. I'm gonna break this down very simply for you. No.
Slack-jawed moron!
Oh, hold
I
on,
asked you
hold
if you
on.
paid attention, so tell me what
Hold
statute
on,
they're violating.
hold on. I'm gonna answer these two things very quickly. First one, then the other, because there were two things that you had addressed right here. The first is that if you want the police called, you can call them yourself. I don't have to do things by your fucking standards. And number two, I don't think everybody's stupid. I firmly believe, though, that you are stupid. Yes.
And I admit I'm stupid. Okay.
I do fully. No, I've not even shied away from that. I think you are a very stupid man. I think you are a very stupid individual, and I am not even gonna lie about that just to make you feel better about it. I think you are dumb as a fucking bag of hammers.
And I don't need oh, I don't know. Anyway, I don't need to be like you. I need
I asked you a question. Do you live in India?
No, I live in Brazil.
Okay, hold on.
Why are they? Wait, Brazil? That's the same place Shirtbusters is from. Why is it always Brazil? Why is it? That's the same place Shirtbusters was from, Leo. Why is it always Brazil?
I'm sure. So my question to you, my question to you, Otter. So do you think bestiality is okay?
Nope.
There's no law in your country against bestiality.
Well, they should have. That's I asked from me.
Why don't you go work on that instead of getting offended because Coyote's talking about pedophiles and making fun of them? You're so worried about what we're doing. Your country's a crap hole that's okay with bestiality. Why don't you get off your duff and go fix that, furry boy?
Okay, I'm gonna go fix it.
Go live by your own values. Let's see if you can hack it.
Awesome.
Yes.
Sounds great. Well, I'm glad we had this talk. I'm glad we had this talk. Go fuck your mother.
I don't know if that's legal in Brazil.
I disconnected him.